Are there any stories that stand out to you? Maybe your first viral one or another one that stands out that you would share with us? You don't have to do the whole one.
Sure.
You could do it like like a shorter version if you wanted.
Well, the great thing about me telling stories on Instagram is it confines me to 90 seconds. So I could tell this story. It's not going to take up a ton of time. So the first story I told, and I couldn't even tell you why I decided to tell it that day, was one of my favorite stories. And it was from, I think, my fourth or fifth year teaching. And we had a student who just wouldn't speak. She showed up the first day, was very quiet. I thought it was just, first day nerves. But then throughout the rest of the week, she didn't speak at all, would participate, like do all the work, but never talk to anybody. And so my colleagues and I would ask questions about how she was doing in each other's classes. And we're just like, she's not talking. So contacted the family. She never, she just like stopped speaking that summer. So it was very new to the family. And we spent the next months at a time, like meeting with social workers and psychologists, therapists, meeting with the family. And during that time, I just felt so bad that she was coming into class and like not communicating. And so every day I would take a sticky note, do one of my little doodles, or like, hey, I hope you have a great day. Or I'd draw like a spider who ate too much cake and just like slap it on her desk. And she would sometimes smile, but for the most part, I would just say, I'm glad you're here, and then walk away. And she didn't talk all year. It's one of the most unique situations I've ever been a part of. Did not speak. I didn't hear a single word. And then 2 years later, I go into my mailbox and just to see what other junk mail comes in. And for those of you who don't teach, it's just like
It's never anything
magazines
good.
upon mag. No, it's not. And there's an envelope in there, and it just has my name on it, Mr. Ike. And I open it up, and on the inside is a single sticky note, and it says, "I saved all your sticky notes. Thank you so much. You mean more to me than you know." And that's the first story I told, which I just deemed sticky notes. And that went viral real fast. um, but for me, it's just like a very personal story of like, what is teaching? Is it all academics? And I've, as you've experienced too, there are very defined moments where you're like, this is what I'm here to do. And for me, that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Because I
Yeah.
know that there are definitely teachers, especially without the context of having already known the situation from the parents or something, that would probably have seen that as like defiance or
Yep.
have like picked a fight and got into a power struggle with this kid that's clearly going through something super major. And
Yeah.
instead, you kind of found your own way to communicate with her. So that's incredible. Have you like heard from her since then or?
No, I do know that she graduated, so that's good to hear.
Yeah.
But most of my students that have reached out to me are not students that were from stories I've told, which is good because I really try and protect the identity of that person since I'm not necessarily getting permission to tell these stories.
Yeah.
I also don't know that I'd be telling these stories if I was still in the classroom because I don't want to be perceived by parents that I'm like talking about your child from this year.
Yeah.
Like that would be a little dicey.
Yeah.
But it's been cool to share. I try and share uplifting things to show what teachers do. That's what it has become. And as you know, as you post on social media, your content can kind of go through stages.
Hmm.
And so the stage that I'm in currently is I try and post things, insights that I've found just in stories that I've captured in and outside the classroom, but also funny moments too, because we all need some of those.
Yeah. So what are some of the funnier moments that you had during your time in the classroom?
Oh my gosh. The buckets, right? Like
Right.
it's so hard. And I think we probably all as teachers, we have our go-to stories, right? Where
Yeah.
you're like, this is the shock value of this one's really good.
Hmm.
Um, one that I think of often is a story I've told. It's called The Lizard. And I got a phone call. It's like 5 minutes before students arrive. And it's this mom. And I answer it. And I can just hear shrill screaming in the background, just like blood curdling screams, not from the mom, but just from like a kid. And the mom's yelling in the phone. She's like, Dylan, he got his brother's lizard in his backpack and he's going to be to school any minute. You need to stop him. I'm going to come get the lizard. His brother is freaking out. And then the phone hung up.
Oh my
And I was like,
gosh.
what is happening? So I'm like, all right, it's 7:30 in the morning. I got to find a kid who's kidnapped his brother's lizard. And like, as I'm thinking about what to happen, the kid walks to the doorway. I'm like, Dylan, I know you have your brother's lizard in your backpack. And then he just takes off running.
Oh
And I'm just
no.
like, good Lord, like, what is happening? And so I chase him. I'm literally like, rarely do you chase kids. I'm chasing this child. He runs in the bathroom. and he's up against the wall hugging his backpack. And I'm like, Dylan, I just want to walk you to the front of the building. That's all I want to do. I know you've got your brother's lizard. I think you and I can both agree that we can't have a lizard running through the school. And he's like, he goes, but look, and he unzips the backpack, and I'm like ready in like most athletic stance to capture his lizard. And he pulls out this lizard. He goes, it has my name on it. And it's a stuffed animal.
Oh my gosh.
And my day was ruined. Like my adrenaline had spiked. I'm like sweaty.
You're
I
like,
got to go back. Yeah. I mean, gosh, so many things.
like fully ready to get like a net and catch this live lizard.
Yes.
And oh my
fully
gosh.
ready. Fully ready.
Did it have his name on it?
It did. He was correct. Don't know how it played out at home.
Thank you so much for watching. Want more of Those Who Can't Do in your life? Well, you can watch the full episode right now. Just click on that little box over there. You see it? Right down there? There it is. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Okay, bye.